Hang Time is part of the Globally Balling Network, and you can check out our social media. That's facebook.com/globallyballin. Instagram, don't forget to follow us at Globally Ballin Official. And don't forget also to tweet us. You can tweet us your suggestions of who you want us to interview in all kinds of sports here in the Philippines. That's at Globally Ballin. And for all of our sports fans, we've got more shows for you here from the Globally Ballin Network. We have the Globally Ballin podcast, an eternity of basketball, Hang Time, and Who the Heck Are We? Just check it out on our YouTube page. That's at Globally Ballin. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time we release a new video. And we have a new network show. Help us welcome Who the Heck Are We for sports opinions and stories. It's available on Spotify and on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. If it's still not enough that ball is life, well, for all our shoot lovers, basketball lovers, we've got an eternity of basketball just for you, provided by the Globally Ballin Network. Again, available on Spotify and on YouTube. And for a quick and easy way to find us on all of our social media and all of our different shows, you can check it out. Our link tree, that's on the site right there, and you can find the link at the top of all of our show descriptions. Welcome to another episode of Hang Time with me, Denice Disney. And for this episode, we're going to be joined by one of the UAAP volleyball legends that I've ever had the privilege of interviewing and talking to, none other than Manilla Santos Ng, but more famously known as Ila Santos. Ate Ila, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you also for having me, Denise.
Actually, I was getting lots of flashbacks because parang it was insane. It felt like just yesterday that I was interviewing you na magka-comeback ka for the Choco Flying Titans after being in, I wouldn't say retirement, but after being in retirement for a couple of years. And, people were wondering na, oh, babalik ba si Ila? And then all of a sudden, bam, she's back. But first, Atila, how have you been doing? How has a year into the pandemic and the quarantine, kamusta ka naman?
Ay, nako, itong pandemic na to, grabe, a lot has changed, especially dito sa bahay. Siyempre, busy-busy ako ngayon sa dalawang kids kasi I really have to assist them in the new normal setting, online schooling, and iba na rin yung kung paano ko yung mga ginagawa ko sa bahay, mga household chores, iba na rin, like grocery runs, totally, everything changed talaga. So yun, busy-busy ako dito sa bahay with the kids, and yeah, pati na-realize ko, I love planting pala ha. Plantita na pala ako.
Parang you have joined the Plantita squad. But I can like low-key relate to yung saying that you've gotten busier because of the pandemic. Because also my mom, ever since for homemakers talaga and for moms, they have gotten busier and things have gotten more hectic during this pandemic. Parang it was way more it's way more stressful now compared to how it was before.
True. Tama yan. Yung mga simple things na pwede mo nang gawin before, ngayon you have to do extra safety measures para lang magawa yun, di ba?
Yeah, and like the online learning of your kids, parang it's like homeschooling. You didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, akala ko nga mas magiging madali, pero I just realized na yung kailangan ko talagang bantayan, especially I have 2 kids, di ba? So yung panganay ko, minsan pagpapasok ako ng kwarto, ang bilis mag-click-click-click. Yung pala, ano na ginagawa ko dyan? Nag-aaral ka pa ba? And syempre, I also have to be with my youngest kasi she's just 4 years old. So, alam mo naman, bata pa. May mga materials, crayons, and everything. I really have to be on her side. Kaya, ayun, balik-balik ako sa kanilang dalawa. And then after that, may tutor pa. So, dati I bring my son to parang a math tutor pa. Pero ngayon, ako na nagtuturo. Di ba, mas busy nga. Hindi ko nga kalain na ngayon, pandemic, mas busy na dito sa bahay talaga. Parang mas marami akong ginagawa ngayon compared before.
Like, iba talaga mga moms during this quarantine. This is a shout out to all the moms who have been feeding us also 3 or 4 times a day, and who try to make sure that the house is up and running. Like, oh my goodness, like as a child, thank you for being such a great mom to your kids, because it's a hard thing to do, really, juggling all of the responsibilities. But going back to volleyball and your comeback 2019 2019.
2019.
My goodness, it seems so long ago because of the pandemic. But what were your initial thoughts? Because when you came back, all the fuss was really the spotlight was on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember asking you before about it while you were doing all of the interviews, na parang nakakapanibago ba, ninenervyos ka ba, parang what were the thoughts going into your head na everyone, all eyes literally were just waiting for you to play?
Yeah. Well, I started naman yan kasi I really wanted to play kasi I haven't experienced yung semi-pro. And then my son asked me if I can play. So sabi ko, sige, I try. Sabi ko, I'll try. Nung mga around 2018, yeah, bumalik ako. Slowly but surely, nag-start ako ng core strengthening. Tapos I lift weights, but still different pa rin yung you get to practice with the team, 'di ba?
Mhm.
So, yeah, early 2018, naki-training ako sa isang team. And then after that, sabi ko, oh, parang pwede naman, may improvement. So, yeah, may lumalabas din na, oh, maglalaro ba? Maglalaro ba? Ako parang, yes, gusto ko rin maglaro. Why not, 'di ba? Eh, yung first sport ko na minahal ko, na minahal din naman ako. So sabi ko, okay, go. Tapos, yeah, nung medyo papalapit na, nandiyan na, parang, yun nga, the world is closing in. Parang, teka lang, parang, lahat sila, they were expecting a lot, ganyan. It's really different when I was already in that situation because I know bago pa lang ako pumasok na, yeah, there is a tendency na maging gano'n nga. Pero it's still different nung nandun na, parang lahat ng interviews and mga comments, parang medyo na-overwhelm ako.
I remember the day that I interviewed you for the score, after that, you had to go to ANC for game time naman, answering
Mhm.
the same questions. Parang,
Yeah.
you play, like, parang, you admitted na it got overwhelming.
Mhm.
I don't know, how about the change in the attention to volleyball? Did you also feel that na parang, wow, parang before, nung naglalaro naman ako, wala namang ganito. Alam mo yun? Parang in-expect mo
Um,
ba yung the attention?
Somehow I expected it pero hindi gano'n ka-wild, no, if I may use the word. Kasi ako na-experience ko yung naglaro ako ng walang audience. Na-experience ko yung may konting audience na, tapos marami ng audience hanggang sa bago ako gumraduate, nandiyan na yung social media. I think it's around 2006 nung nag-start na i-televise ang sport na volleyball. So yun talaga nag-boom, dun nag-start. Pero nung pagbalik ko, parang times 10. Nagulat talaga ako. Yeah, a lot has changed.
And how about the fans? I'm sure you got tagged in so many like posts and mga comments on Twitter or on Instagram or maybe on Facebook the moment you had your interview. Like, how was that like? After all of your interview articles were published, after all of your interview videos were shown, how was the reception?
Actually, as much as possible, hindi talaga ako nagbabasa. Although some, syempre hindi mo maiiwasan. But yeah, I'm really happy that I still have fans na very supportive of me. They're always there, and I'm just thankful for them. Yeah.
Did they send you notes? Because one thing that we talk about, or one thing that I've realized also about volleyball fans now is, they really send gifts. Di ba, hinihintay ka talaga sa mga games, and lots of volleyball players also that mentioned na yung mga fans nila nagiging kaibigan nila. When you came back to volleyball, how was the community? How were the fans like towards you? Parang if you can give like, I don't know, messages, did they message you? Like, what was a remarkable memory for you?
Well, meron akong, yung iba siyempre nagse-send sila ng mga messages nila, "Good luck, God bless," ganyan. Pero meron isa talaga, parang nakatutok siya every game ko. So, every time na may game, he would, this person would comment or suggest kung ano yung nangyari, what happened. Tapos parang may sarili akong ano, oo, talaga nakakatuwa. Tapos yeah, parang naano ko lang dun, na-feel ko na parang, uy, talagang meron talagang taong, into the sport na gusto ka, na fan ka, na nakakakuha ka rin sa kanila ng encouragement. Yeah, yun yung pinakamasaya dun, yung sa fans pa manggagaling, na they will encourage you, tapos they will tell you how they were, so happy and excited seeing you play, yun.
Aw, that's so sweet. Actually, I've heard nga also na some of them, they give pa tips. Like, oh, ito yung nangyari. Parang, for some, you've gotten
That's
them.
true. That's true. Meron yan talaga. Nakakatuwa, nakakatuwa. Yun lang hindi mo talaga masagot lahat kasi madami sila.
Oh my goodness. Okay, medyo natawa ako na din. Like, inaalala ko talaga na, you know, so fans, they're multifaceted. They're supporters, encouragers, critics, coaches, lahat-lahat na all in one.
Totoo. Pero iba talaga meron silang point, ah.
Ooh. Now, you mentioned kanina na before you came back, early 2018, you were practicing with the team. Was this Choco Mucho?
No, it's with Creamline. Since
Okay.
my husband is affiliated with a company, so we asked the management if we can parang practice with them, try out. Yun, titingnan namin kung meron pa bang receive, meron pa bang kasi you wouldn't know eh kapag ka nandun ka lang sa loob ng gym, nagle-lift
Yeah.
ng weights. It's still different.
And afterwards, let's talk about being in Chocomucho. A lot of
Mhm.
spotlight and attention was already on you, and then biglang you're placed in a team that's even like more, parang, you know, has a lot of star players, and you're joining
Mhm.
that team. Also, you're shining just as bright as they are. How do you deal with all the clamor and I don't know, just having people talk about you all the time and the team also?
Well, sa akin naman ang importante is, dapat yung focus ko is joining the team, not to be mapunta sa spotlight or whatever. I really want to play and contribute to the team, and playing with these, wonderful players, amazing players, mas nakakakuha din ako ng inspiration sa kanila. Even though they're young, they're very athletic and competitive, they're all down to earth person na they welcome me, and they're just very also generous with their words. They're so nice people. Yeah.
Mhm. And how was it like being one of the ates there? Parang, did they joke around na talagang, oh, Ate Ila, ikaw talaga yung mom of the team. Talagang lumabas yung maternal instinct mo, alam mo yun?
Talagang ano, malayo naman kasi yung age gap namin. So talagang ate talaga nila ako. Although yung iba dun, inabutan ko ba? Sa ay, hindi ako sure eh. Pero yeah, ako na yung pinakamatanda dun sa Chocomucho.
Did one of the players ever admit na, OMG, I'm such a fan, Ate Ila? Alam mo yun, like nag-fangirl over you?
Meron naman, meron.
Ooh!
Oo. Nakakatuwa nga eh. We're close now actually.
Ooh, who is this? We're curious, like,
Okay, sige. Kasi ganito yan. Nung first time akong pumunta ng practice ng Chocomucho, um, siyempre diretso muna ako ng dugout to change clothes. Tapos may pumasok, si Aryan Angustia. Tapos pagpasok niya, "Ate Ila? Ate Ila, maglalaro ka sa'min? Ate Ila, dito ka ba? Ate Ila?" Parang hindi pa ako nakakasagot, ang dami niya ng tanong. Tapos sabi ko, yeah, dito ako. Practice ako sa inyo together with you guys. Tapos parang, talaga? Tapos labas siya kaagad. Di ko alam kung anong sinabi niya sa ibang teammates. Nakakatuwa. Pero ngayon, we're very close. Kasi maano siya, talagang very transparent din siya. She speaks her mind. She's really honest. And masayang kausap din.
I think Ate Ila, sometimes kasi you
Mhm.
underestimate just how much people look at you and how much of a legacy that you left behind in volleyball talaga.
Oh,
But
thank
you
you
know,
for that.
after I guess a couple of trainings with Choco Mucho, how was it
Mhm.
like getting back into a sport and you know trying to adapt to the new age of volleyball? Iba na yung competition, iba
Mhm.
na yung you know just everything about it. Eh. It's like
Mhm.
a whole transformation from how it was before.
Yeah, kasi before, well, napansin ko no'n marami ng siyempre mas matatangkad na, mas highly athletic and competitive, yun nga yung sinasabi ko. Kasi before nung panahon ko, ang mga matatangkad, it's either they end up being a flight attendant or a model. Pero ngayon, yung nag-boom na ang sport ng volleyball, mas marami ng pumasok, mas maraming, um, yeah, siguro gusto nilang ituloy kasi after that may career sila. So, mas marami ng choices ngayon kaya tumaas talaga yung level ng volleyball kasi hindi lang puro tangkad, matangkad at the same time, agile.
What would you, I guess, say maybe words of encouragement because you mentioned it na parang yun nga sinasabi nila na back then pag matangkad ka beauty queen or yung artista yung mga those things but now volleyball sports has entered the picture and now young girls have so many opportunities to like pick kung anong pwede nila and sports remains to be the top priority because of the opportunities that it presents but now that the competition has gotten a bit tougher
Mhm.
what can you say of course to the girls na hindi masyadong matangkad but they have the passion, they have the skill because nowadays to get a second look by coaches it helps to be tall. Literally you're easier to notice.
That's true. Even yun sa panahon ko din naman, di rin naman ako pinapansin. Lalo na ngayon. So, ngayon siguro masasabi ko lang is, you really have to work hard. If you love the sport, you have to continue on kasi hindi lang din naman puro volleyball skills ang kailangan na hinahanap ng coaches eh. Dapat nandyan din yung right attitude, towards yung sa practice and relating with other teammates. So I think naman that God will reward you if you continue to be persistent and to be you just also have to pray a lot and ask God if this path is really for you. And syempre, you have to do your part also.
I can't believe that yung kanina na sinabi mo na hindi ka rin na-notice. What? How? You have to tell us more. Like, what do you mean hindi ka na-notice?
Kasi noon, nung pumasok ako nun sa Lasal, parang marami kami nun eh, mga 20 plus kami nun. Tapos marami rin mga matatangkad. So, siyempre, si Coach Ramil noon talagang ang para sa kanya din, height is might. And kahit naman kaninong mga coaches, 'di ba, yun talaga yung unang titingnan. Siyempre, dapat magaling ka mag-block, tapos siyempre mataas, matangkad sila. So ako noon, minsan natatapos yung training ng nagpupulot lang talaga ako ng bola. From the start of the training hanggang sa matapos, parang, anong ginawa ko dito? Parang, am I still part of the team? Magaling ba ako? Parang okay naman ako nung high school, Tapos nung college, hindi na nga ako pinapansin talaga. So yun, minsan after practice, umiiyak na lang talaga ako sa dugout kasi nga feeling ko I will never be part. Pero nung wala, tinuloy-tuloy ko lang sabi ko, "God, you will never put me in this situation if hindi mo naman din inallow." So sabi ko, "Okay, fine, I'll just continue what I can. I work hard." And then eventually, na-notice naman ako. Tapos isa 'yan si Coach Oliver sa nag-push din sa'kin na paulit-ulit niyang, may pinapagawa siya sa'kin because, nung high school ako, ang jump ko is vertical. Pero nung ginawa kong open spiker, they wanted me to learn how to do broad jump. Eh, dun ako nahihirapan. So, Coach Ramil and Coach Oliver really taught me to do the right approach for the position. Yun.
Man, that's tough. And like, I can't imagine parang having to deal with being recruited, you finally get a chance to play, excited ka maglaro, tapos biglang nagpupulot ka lang ng bola, and then every day, parang na-feel ko yun na you're crying na lang sa dugout. Didn't you want to
Yeah.
leave volleyball after, like, I'm sure it was for some time that you felt that way and that you were crying.
Well, nung umiiyak ako nun, I have scholarship kasi.
Ah,
So, sabi ko, then might as well stay kasi malaking bagay din naman yun. Tulong din yun sa family ko.
my goodness.
So,
But
it's already a
wow.
blessing na rin being part of the team.
Wow. But my mind is blown also. I forgot na parang you were under Coach O and Coach Ramil. Can you tell us about the amazing combination that's such a privilege to be under such well-renowned coaches
Totoo,
here in
totoo
the
yan.
Philippines?
Totoo yan. Ano sila eh, parang si Coach Ramil kasi, few words lang siya. Si Coach Oliver, talagang marami talaga siya sasabihin. So, minsan nagbabalance naman sila. Kaya kung minsan kung ano yung gustong sabihin ni Coach Ramil, si Coach Oliver was there to explain everything to everybody ng mas maraming salita.
I have been witness to that and like seeing all of it. He always has so much to say. But the good thing about Coach O is one thing that he never forgets to put during mga huddle is of course yung faith and how it plays such a big role, and of course putting verses in the midst of of everything. That's how he inspires. And kanina you were mentioning also about how your faith really kept you through it all, and praying to God are all important values. Because of that, do you think now, I mean, or, when you came back to PBL, na coach mo si Coach O, you got along so well of the chemistry because of that?
I would think it's a big factor also kasi parang I want to be with somebody din naman na whom I can share the same faith. Especially pagka nire-relate niya yung sport sa spiritual life. So malaking bagay din yun kasi sometimes as an athlete you get so stressed about a lot of things sa games, especially when you lose. Pero iba pa rin kapag nakakarinig ka ng truth. Hindi lang yon sabi ni no or sabi ni what, but it's the truth eh. 'Di ba? There are a lot of God's promises that you can hold on to na no matter what the world brings upon you, mahirap man siya. If you hold on to that, mahahanap mo yung peace and joy inside your heart.
I want to delve more into that topic because you hear athletes thanking God all the time, talking about how, of course, they dedicate their game to God, but none of
Mhm.
them, I've never heard an athlete in the volleyball who talks about it with as much depth and passion and knowledge as much as you. And I wanted to ask, like, where does that come from? And like, how did you get there to the point na parang, you know what, because nakikita ko talaga na faith plays such a big role in your life. And how you really insert it with how you live, especially in how you play as well.
I grew up in a Christian family. But syempre, throughout my life, hindi naman ako yung um, parang na-practice. Oh my gosh, I'm so guilty about this. But syempre, when you are um, given the foundation, the right foundation, especially when you're kids, even though in your teenage years you get to lose path, but when you have that strong foundation, babalik ka din eh. You will realize there will come a time that you will realize that walang ibang makakatulong sa'yo instead yung faith mo kay God talaga. So, yeah, I guess yun din yung tumulong sa akin. Up until now, I'm still a work in progress. And I am just here actually to also help my children build a strong foundation and, guiding them. Kasi nga, importante talaga kahit na bata sila, kailangan talagang matutunan nila and ma-educate sila kung sino talaga si God sa buhay nila.
So, like hearing those things, it's like it's something because you don't hear people talk about faith a lot these days, especially, there's so many noise and fake truths going around. So it's nice to be with people, and of course, people who are very vocal about it and really, like really attribute why they're so peaceful, why they're calm, and throughout these times, especially these times, na parang it's pretty chaotic. Chaotic is an understatement, and you just always need something to hold on to that's always bigger than the world and bigger than yourself. So that's nice to hear, Ate Ila. But going back again to PVL, how was it like during your first game? I know yung first season na naglaro ka, hindi ka masyadong nagamit. Pero those few times that you came into the court, how did it feel like to be part of the game again?
Well, syempre kinakabahan ako kasi it's been a long time since I've been into the inside the court, 'no. Tapos kasama ko pa yung mga teammates ko na actually parang sandali pa lang kami magkakasama, eh. It's like a month before tsaka lang ako nag-join with them. But, yeah, nung pagpasok ko sa loob, it's really different, eh. But nung tumagal, medyo nakaka-adjust na. So, nung mga last few games nung pinapasok ako, mas nagkakaroon na ako ng kumpiyansa.
And it feels like the momentum tuloy-tuloy eh. Parang we were slowly seeing more of you as each game passes. Na parang, okay. But then, as all the stories go nowadays, COVID happened.
Mhm.
And it's just, it just puts a stop, a halt. It just breaks all of your plans. I don't know. For someone who just came back into the game excited to play something, especially it meant more to you now because it was your son who requested you to play and you
Mhm.
missed the sport. The sport missed you back. And then, biglang, ano ba yan? Like, ano nangyayari? Wala namang volleyball.
Mhm.
What does this
Kaya
spell
nga,
for
eh.
me? How was the experience like for you?
Well, nung kailan ba nag-start, anong year ba yun, 2019?
Yeah,
Yung
2019 when you
unang
started.
lockdown?
Unang
Ah,
lockdown last year.
last
2020.
year lang, yeah, nung nag-start yung pandemic, ano pa yan, eh, parang we were, doing synchronous and asynchronous, training. Well, hanggang ngayon pa naman, meron pa naman gano'n. Pero, yeah, ang daming changes tapos we adjusted and hoping na matutuloy na nga ulit ang another season. So, yan, papalapit na. Exciting!
I know. I'm so excited. Like, I feel like we needed the news of sports and all of these trades happening and PVL moving to, of course, to a different network, to a different home, and other teams going to the PVL. Like, ano yung mga
Mhm.
naging reactions mo when you were seeing all of these like news about volleyball after almost a year of none of them?
Ay naku, sobrang nakaka-miss talagang manood ng volleyball. Tapos nung nalaman pa namin na a lot of teams are joining PVL pa, tapos, yeah, I'm just very excited to see teams, play together. It's a whole, different, paano ba sabihin 'to? Iba, eh, iba na.
Parang tuloy-tuloy yung pagbabago sa volleyball. It's like you just came back to a new volleyball and then here it goes, another change happening. How do you keep up with all the changes and like just not get now, oh my gosh, parang hindi ka nangangarag.
Um, well, ca can I say na that I will not be, um oh, yeah. Well, last year kasi I'm about to end my contract December, and then there's a rumor that the tournament is going to be a bubble, and
Yeah.
then yeah, I realized na hindi ko kayang iwan yung mga anak ko. So I told the management that I won't be playing for next season. I'm so sad. Pero yeah, ganun talaga. Kasi nga, 'di ba si Kenzie din yung nagsabi sa akin na, "Mama, I wanna see you play." Tapos nung there's a
Yeah.
rumor na tournament's going to be a bubble, I told my son, I asked him, sabi ko, "Si Kenzie, Mommy's going to be away for a few weeks." Yung pala yung sinabi ko, sabi niya, "No, I'm gonna talk to them." Capital N, oh no. Sabi ko, sige, hindi na nga ako pupunta. So, syempre, family pa rin and my kids, yun pa rin yung priority ko. So, but I will always be here for Choco Mucho to support them, and I'm going to watch their games definitely.
Uh, it's not only you who will miss the game, but we will also miss you. And parang, again, I'm so privileged to be like in the one breaking this news to people that you won't be joining this season. This season na naman, guys.
Yeah.
Never say never, okay? You know, she's
Correct.
not saying bye to the sport. It's just the bubble's hard. She's a mom. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about that more. Na parang how much has motherhood changed your life? I know we talked about it a bit sa simula, pero ngayon na, yun na nga, like, you're back to playing the sport that you love because of your son, and now you're also choosing not to play, of course, because of your family, which is very understandable. So,
Mm-hmm.
how has motherhood changed you throughout all of these years?
Sobrang iba. Kahit na yung patience ko, ang haba. Akala ko nga hanggang dun na lang, pero nung naging mommy na ako, parang meron pa pala siyang ihahaba. Hindi ko na isip yun. Tapos sabi ko, kasi siyempre, kids will be kids, 'di ba? So yung anak ko medyo minsan I have to remind him again and again. Tapos sabi ko, as I told him, you know what? I remember I told my mom, "Mom, I think you keep on telling us a lot of things na paulit-ulit." Tapos sabi ko, ngayon nagiging gano'n na pala ako. Paulit-ulit na rin ako. So parang umiikot lang. Ngayon naintindihan ko na kung paano maging mommy, na kailangan talagang you really have to guide your children. And ito yung mga stage na hindi mo pwedeng iwan talaga. Eh ngayon pa nga lang, kasama ko sila dito sa bahay. Parang ang bilis na nilang lumaki. How much more if I don't see them for a week, 2 weeks, or 1 month? 'Di ba? So, yun, yung patience ko, tapos yung explanation ko sa kanila, talagang as much as possible, you have to make them understand on how things are on how things should be done. Kahit yung mga simple tasks lang dito sa bahay, we have to explain to them bakit kailangan gawin yan, bakit hindi, why do you have to do this, and mga ganon, 'di ba?
It's really intense to like be a
Mhm.
mom. Like, I can't imagine the responsibilities that you have, and like most of all, the sacrifice really that you put in. Like, you know, like this one for going the season of playing. But you know,
Mhm.
aside from being a legend, a flying titan, a wife, a mother, what you also are like a makeup artist. Para that's something that you're so passionate about, and like how did that happen? Makeup pa. You
Okay.
know, it's so rare kasi diba, you know how there's a stereotype of athletes na, you know, they go to class na parang nakasinelas lang kasi, you know, pagod ka sa training, the last thing on your mind is trying to be fashionable.
That's very true. Nung college ako kasi mahilig na talaga ako. Kaso nga lang, tama ka dun, wala na talagang time. So after ng training, punta ka sa loob ng classroom, hair dripping pa. So wala na talagang time. Pero ang pinaka nakahiligan ko na lang dun is cutics. So, nung nasa dorm kami, I brought a box of mga shoebox big, tapos punong-puno yun ng cutics. Kasi yung mga teammates ko, they go to my room and they would say, "Ate, pahiram." So everybody would put, mahilig ako nun sa neon red, neon green, neon orange, ganyan-ganyan. So lahat ng teammates ko, almost, naka-cutics din sila. Nakita ni Coach Ramil. alam mo naman si Coach Ramil, conservative. Tanggalin niyo yan. Ayaw niya. Siyempre kami, tatanggalin, ganyan-ganyan. Eh, siyempre hindi natatanggal. Minsan tinatago na lang namin. Pagka magdidigpas kami, hindi kita, ganyan. Eh, siyempre, girls will be girls. Minsan gusto mo rin naman may magawa, di ba? Nasa dorm
True.
lang. Aside from training, aside from studying. Kasi yun lang talaga yung gusto niya. Bawal lang boys, bawal kung ano-ano. Sabay-sabay kami kakain. So, parang cutics ka na lang, ganyan. Eh, di may one time, si Coach Ramil pumunta ng room namin kasi magpe-prayer kami. Hindi nakita niya ngayon yung isang box. Sabi ko na nga hindi pwede yan eh. Kanino ba yan? Tapos everybody was quiet kasi ayaw nilang sabihin na sa akin yan. Kasi at that time, ako yung team captain. Eh, wala nang choice. So, nalaman nalaman niya sa akin yun. Sabi niya, kamote ka talaga, Santos. Nakamote talaga.
Oh my goodness. I can't.
So, yun. Tapos after nun, nung gumraduate ako, siguro after ko kay Kenzie din mga anak, 2012, nag-aral na ako ng makeup artistry. Dito lang naman sa Philippines, ang basic makeup, tapos wedding makeup, high fashion, and avant-garde. Kasi nahiligan ko siya. Tapos for a while, nag-gigs ako. And then, nung I got pregnant for Kayla na, nag-stop na ulit ako kasi ang bigat ng mga gamit eh. Tapos after nun, hindi na siya natuloy. That's 2016 eh. 2016 siya 2016 siya pinanganak.
Wow. You know, it's really so amazing. Like, I know I keep repeating this, pero nakikita kasi yung pattern na parang you find something that you love, pero once you have kids, nothing can really trump that na eh.
Totoo yan. Kaya nako, tsaka yung kapag ka magtra-travel kayo together with your husband, parang kasi kami parang nag-travel kami before pag anniversary namin. Talagang malayo kami. Then ask my parents to take care of my children kasi we cannot entrust talaga sa yaya or ano. Iba pa rin kapag ka-family nagbabantay. So, kunyari nasa ibang place kami, ang pinag-uusapan namin kids pa rin. Tapos we check them sa camera, kamusta na? Parang hindi na gano'n na kayong dalawa lang. Iba na talaga.
That's so cute. Parang, so, the first married woman and mother that I interviewed, just a couple of episodes ago, was si Ate Kai. And, you know, with Ate Kai, she focused so much more on marriage. Pero it's so nice to get a perspective naman really on parenthood. Because it's like, I talk about this a lot, the beauty about having this podcast and like also being able to interview you guys is yung fleshing you out. Na parang, you know, aside from being volleyball players, like, that's not your number one identity. Like, for you right now, your number one is really being a mother. Like, and it's always so good to learn from people and how they deal with things and to get some lessons. So, nakakatuwa lang siya.
Di ba?
It's really so
Yun.
cool how, you know, you've changed so much. But, okay, this one I'm very, very curious. Have you always been this cool, calm, and collected? Because you're so chill.
Again?
Have you always been this cool, calm, and collected? Because ate, you're super chill. As in, yung boses mo sobrang malumanay. Parang, alam mo yung nakakaantok siya kasi like, wow, so
Ay,
gentle. Ay, nako, Denise. You're like that.
hindi ako ganito. Believe it or not, nung mga first, second year ko ng college, sobrang kulit ko talaga. Like, pag gusto nilang tumawa, they call me, Ila, do this, do that. Ganyan ako, pabibo. I think ganun naman talaga. Nung pumunta nga ako ng Choco noon, nung nag-join ako sa kanila, tapos, ano kasi yun eh, meron silang parang team building. So, we have to stay in a place, lahat kami magkakasama. Tapos nakita ko nga may ganon. Tapos sabi ko kay Bea De Leon. Sabi ko, Bea, I was like that before. Sabi niya, talaga ba? Ate, ganyan ka talaga? Pero iba na talaga. Syempre, I have to act my age na rin, di ba? Pero syempre, pagka close ko na, yung kakulitan, lumalabas din.
I can't imagine you ever being, it's insane because alam mo yun, you're super prim and proper, and then like always, you know, parang yung face mo, there's a default na nakasmile ka lang, nag-nod ka lang all the time. And even in games, like, you know, kasi pinapakita sa games yung mga fans na parang the person like, yeah. Then you're just like, just,
Hmm. Siguro meron din akong mga gano'n pictures before, pero konti lang siyempre. Yung mga photographers nun, magagaling na rin. Meron ako na may mga gano'n, mga reaction, mga face na parang fears and gano'n. Pero yeah, iba na nga ngayon talaga.
fierce I get, because you are fierce. Pero yung Kenko, yung pabibo, medyo,
Oh,
talaga ba?
I know why, kasi nga nung na-televise na ang sports na volleyball is around 2006, so hindi na ako bata nun.
Oh my goodness, I can't take it
Siyempre kailangan
seriously.
ano na ako nun, medyo senior na ako nun, so kailangan, 'di ba?
At
Karespe-respeto naman ako.
grabe naman, Ate Ila, grabe ka maka-senior. You're still so young.
Thank you!
Yeah, like, senior, that's an insult to you. That's such a big insult. But, you know, like, you know, as we wrap up this whole interview and this kwentuhan with you, you know, moving forward, it's very sad to hear that, you know, you won't be playing in the bubble. Especially, of course, you know, maraming pasabog ang nangyari nitong summer sa PVL and with
Mhm.
all the moves. But, of course, as a fan, I really do respect your decision. And yeah, you have to do what's right for your family. But um, moving forward, you know, where do you see yourself as a player? Do you see yourself also still coming back to the sport should the circumstances be better?
Well, for me, if you're gonna ask me right now at this time of pandemic, talagang hindi. Hindi mo na ako maglalaro. But eventually, hmm, I don't know. I don't wanna answer yet.
Yeah, I get some. You don't want to
Hmm.
preempt,
Mhm.
especially when things can change in just a snap.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, things are crazy. But it's not, we don't know if it's a goodbye or not. But you know, a message to your fans who have supported you throughout your UAAP days, when you went on your hiatus, when you came back to the PVL, and as you take a break
Mhm.
from volleyball for now. Any messages for the fans and for your supporters?
For my fans and supporters, thank you very much for always being there, especially when you send messages. I really appreciate it. Please do continue also supporting Choco Mucho. And yeah, I hope to see you guys together watching with the team.
Oh, and that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Ate Ila, for joining us, for sharing your story, for sharing stories about your kids, your college days, at lahat-lahat ng mga kwentuhan. But most of all, thank you for your time, because I know things are hectic, but thank you for sparing
Thank you
some time for this
also.
interview.
Thank you also, Denise, for having me. Nakakatuwa at naka-join naman ako dito.
I know. Again, I'm still blushing because, oh my goodness, it's not every day you get to interview a UAAP legend. So, you know, the pleasure is all mine. So, thank you, Ate
Thank you,
Ila.
Denise. Thank you again. Thank you so much.